Daniel no longer slept, no longer ate properly. The fortune was still there, untouched, but he was in ruins. One question pounded in his mind, day and night. Where's the pact? 'Cause somewhere between the wish and the reward, he had accepted something, even without signing, even without seeing. He searched everything. Old papers, scribbled notebooks. It's the bathroom where he first whispered the request. A pit attic where he once cried out in rage and swore he'd give everything for a chance to change his life. But there was no contract, no paper, no signature, only signs, signs that seemed to mock him. His wallet now pulsed like a diseased heart. The bills whispered names he had never spoken. And every time he tried to get rid of the money, it came back, doubled, multiplied, laughing in the face of rejection. He tried to burn what he had, threw stacks of cash into the fireplace, but the fire refused. The flames died on their own. Or worse, they turned into black smoke that rose spinning, leaving behind the stench of burnt flesh and rusted iron. He tried to undo it, to pray, to unsay the words spoken in desperation. But there is no undo button in hell. Because hell, he discovered, doesn't give receipts. There's no regret clause, no refund policy. There is only one certainty. If you received, the collection will come, and it never comes too soon. It comes when you no longer remember who you are, when everything you've gained no longer feels like it was ever truly yours. Daniel no longer slept. The voices that once whispered now screamed inside his head every time he held a simple 20 real bill. It wasn't just hallucination. It was something real, something that touched not just his mind, but his soul. One night, driven by a desperation bordering on delirium, he gathered every bill he had saved. He looked at each one with tired eyes and trembling hands, and then saw dot the faces, eyes hidden in the fibers of the paper, mouths open and silent screams, as if each note were a restless grave. But it wasn't ink. It wasn't print. It was flesh. It was life. It was agony, trapped in the shape of money. With every transaction, he wasn't just passing along wealth. He was passing along pain, transferring fragments of condemned souls, like his own souls, that had signed pacts without reading the invisible clauses. The money he used to buy comfort was buying more curse. And in that moment, Daniel understood. The money was no longer just an object. The money was alive, queeth, and it pulsed with the souls he had helped condemn. Daniel couldn't take it anymore. He tried to give all the money away to strangers on the street. He tried burying the stacks of bills in the backyard. Threw them out, burned them on the stove, cast them into the river, but nothing worked. The next day, the same bills were back, on his bed, in his pockets, inside the fridge. He wept when he touched them, but it was as if the money had memory and hunger. Each bill now pulsed stronger. It smelled like flesh and sounded like grinding bones. It tried to stick to his skin, crawl into his mouth while he slept. His house became a graveyard of rotting wealth. Banknotes sprouted from the walls, from drawers, from cracks in the floor. And he was no longer the owner of the fortune. He was just the host. The meal, the money, now hunted him. Not as something he possessed, but as a starving parasite, feeding on what little humanity he had left. In the end, Daniel understood everything. It wasn't the money he received. It was what he lost without noticing. Every wish fulfilled, every pleasure gained, every luxury attained. They weren't prizes. They were installments, advance payments, for something far more expensive. His life wasn't transformed. It was consumed. He thought he was in control, that he had made a good deal. But the truth came too late. He never bought anything. He was bought. The contract wasn't about things. It was about him, his essence, his soul, his humanity. With every gain, a part of him ceased to exist. Slowly, Daniel stopped being Daniel. Now, Whoever occupies his body still lives, but it's no longer him. That was what the pact wanted from the start. A body with a price, and a soul on clearance. Some wishes hold a terrifying power. They don't take long to come true, because, in truth, they've been heard long before you even voiced them. There are forces that never sleep, that lurk, waiting for the perfect moment to act. And when you think you're making an innocent request, a simple wish, you're already caught in the game. Daniel learned the hard way that greed has a price, that nothing comes for free, that what seems like a gift can be your own downfall. But the question that remains is just one. Would you accept wealth if it cost you your very essence? If this story sends chills down your spine, leave a like to show you felt the weight of this curse. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more soul-shaking stories, okay? And comment below. What would your wish be? And what price would you be willing to pay? Because every choice has a cost, and sometimes the bill arrives when you least expect it.